Okay, I'm continuing on with the video on making pivot tables and pivot charts. And at this point, I stretched out the graph of Africa with the different countries. And of course, you can sort it by year up here and or filter it by year to see particular years. But we had just seen that this country in Africa, right here, Lesotho, Africa, for this is the average of all the years, was 568 was the average death rate per 100,000. But we can check each year of that country individually by, first of all, we could go here and deselect them and do 1 year at a time and just keep a check on that country if anything is going on in particular, and go through and check a variety of years here on this. But another thing that we could do is look at that country in particular. For example, what we could do is, let me move country up here for a second, and I'll move year over to the legend, and I'll make it every year, select all years. And so now you get the breakdown of all the countries in Africa, their average death rate for each country, for all countries based on years. So like here's 2000, and you see the general death rate going down. In fact, if we choose all countries here, let's select all regions of the world, then we'll see that for every single continent, the death rate has been coming down in general. This one went up a little bit in the Eastern Mediterranean, starting around 2010. It started going up, and then, but if you notice, there's a few outliers, but the general trend is definitely a downward trend on this. So that's pretty interesting. With Africa, yeah, they do stay high, but they are trending down, and you can see that started somewhere around 2004 was the first year they started coming down. Now we're interested in that one country. Let's take a look at that, back to just look at Africa. So let's take a look at Africa. So there's that same trend with just Africa. And what I'm going to do is filter it by country here too. So I'm going to bring this down to country. And let's take a look at one in particular. So let's take a look at that one that starts Lesotho, I think it was. So let's see that one. So this is just that country of Lesotho through those years. And you can see it just generally runs high. It's not like things have changed with that. And so you can check different countries this way, and it's nice to move this around. You can pick different regions and so forth. One thing you have to watch out for is if you have this restricted, the region down here restricted to a certain country, let's say Africa, and you choose a country that's not in Africa, let's say Argentina, then you will have no graph. So if you're looking at particular countries up here, it's probably best to have all your regions selected so that they'll show up. Okay, we were just saying that if you should have all the regions selected down here if you're going to look at a particular country. So I just changed this to another country, and I think I changed it to, yeah, I just changed it to Indonesia, and you can type those in at the top to do a search for them, Indonesia. And that's what I have selected right here. And you can see that there's an abnormality in this year right here. 2004 has a gigantic death rate. And if you check actually the internet for 2004 Indonesia, you'll see that that's when a tsunami hit and actually killed 230,000 people. So that's what that was caused there. Looking at some other countries that have some abnormalities to them. Another one is, I think it starts with an E, and it's in Africa. Let me see if I can find that one real fast here. That was, there it is, Eritrea. And that one, right in the year 2000, has a huge death toll, over 700 per 100,000, and that's with males. Now females not as many, you'll see. In fact, a little bit out of line, but that's because of a war that was going on in that particular country. So I'll stop this video right here, but you can see how you move your different variables around, and you get your graphs that you're looking for. So I'll stop it right there.